What are my options? Or you've been laid off from your job. What are your options? If you have been laid off, then I'm really sorry to hear that. All right, but you have options. Here's what I would do. First things first, you need a product or a service. You can't make money without a product or a service. So the first thing you've got to do is choose a product or a service that you can promote. We'll break this down into 5 steps. Alright, step 1 is choose a product or service that you can promote. If you have your own product or service, great. Alright, it could be a physical product or it could be a digital product like a PDF, like a simple information pack. But first thing is to choose a product or a service. If you don't have a product or service, then promote someone else's product or service. I find it much easier to promote someone else's product or service because you have to think about things like keeping the product up to date. If it's an information pack, for example, digital products like information packs need to be kept up to date. So let that be someone else's headache, keeping the information up to date. What about customer service? Queries, refunds, complaints, they need to be customer service. So let someone else have that headache. These are the advantages of promoting someone else's products. They keep the product up to date and in perfect condition. All you do is promote it. All right. So choose a product or service. If you choose someone else's product, it's called affiliate marketing. All right. Second step is how you get paid. Very important, how you get paid. All right. Are you going to get paid as a one-off for selling that product or service? Are you going to get paid every month? If it's a recurring product or service, you get a recurring income. A good example is supplements. People love taking supplements. People will buy their multivitamins every month. So you do the work once, you find a customer, and they're yours for life, and you get that recurring income. So we've got the one-off payment, the recurring income payment, and the third is the big ticket item. All right. Products can cost thousands. People will pay thousands. If you promote a product worth thousands, you get thousands in commissions. So you might do the work once. If it's a big ticket item that's expensive, you could get big commissions. All right. So yes, smaller, cheaper products are probably easier to sell, but you only get a smaller commission. So there are yes, pros and cons either way. Okay, the third thing is promotion. There needs to be some sort of promotion in place. All right. Some products or services can be promoted simply by posting on social media, whether it's a text post every day or a short video like this every day, or you can purchase advertising. All right. Purchasing advertising is one way of scaling up. So if the advert works, you can put more, you can increase your budget and scale up that way and get faster returns. But always test first. Purchase a small bit of advertising, track your advertising. If it's working, then you can scale up. But there will be some promotion involved. Don't think you can't promote and make money. Here's the thing about promotion that I find fascinating, and which you actually will realize is true. All right, a bad product with lots of promotion will get some sales. A fantastic product with zero promotion will get zero sales. That's how important promotion is. Sometimes it doesn't really matter so much about your product. Promotion can be just as, if not more, important. All right, now follow-up emails, right? They say the money is in the follow-up. This is because most people are not impulse buyers. Most people will not buy something the first time they come across it, even if it's the item to solve the biggest pain point they have. Most people will need to look at something multiple times. There need to be multiple contacts with the product or with the service before they finally get converted from someone who's interested to someone who's actually going to make the purchase. All right, so the follow-up is important. The follow-up can be in the form of a daily email, for example. All right. So a daily email can keep people, or can keep your product or service front of mind, which would eventually lead to the purchase. Now, in order to promote, you need a link. All right. You need a link to your product or a link to your service. If you're promoting someone else's product, if you are an affiliate marketer, they will give you a link. The link has only two functions. There are only two things that link needs to do. The first thing is when they click on that link, they should get a very, very, very brief explanation of how that product will solve their problem. All right. Even if it's a 1-sentence explanation or a 5 or 10-second video, that link should take them to a very brief explanation of how that product will solve their problem. The second thing the link should do, when they click on the link, that page, apart from explaining how that product will solve their problem, that page should capture their contact details, whether it's a phone number or an email or a postal address even. You should contact their contact details. If it's an email, for example, it is through that email that you'll be able to get your message across constantly, every day or every week, until they eventually buy the product or service. That's called a lead capture. All right. So your link from your partner, the person whose product you're promoting, or the link to your product or service should have that lead capture function. Okay. So from lead capture, we go to follow-up emails. And then the last step is conversion. All right. Conversion. There must be some conversion in place. What that means is explanation or a process by which objections can be handled, questions can be answered, more explanation of how the product or service actually does the thing it says on the tin. This can be a sales letter, a long 5, 10, 15, 20-page sales letter explaining everything. Or a webinar. Okay, webinars are very powerful for conversion. All right, conversion just means converting your lead, someone who's interested, into a customer, someone who pulls out their card and makes the payment. All right, so conversions can also be done increasingly by AI, because AI can be trained about the product and service. AI can answer all the questions. AI can handle all the objections. AI can ask the questions that lead directly to the sale. AI can ask for the money. Okay, even call centers can do the conversion. Real live human beings in call centers can convert your leads into customers. So you can see how all of this, right, can come to you as a package if you look and hunt and search carefully for the right product or service. You should have a product or service that solves an actual problem. All right. Ideally is a recurring income, or maybe a big ticket, or sometimes there's a cheaper item, and then once they purchase the cheaper item, they'll be offered more expensive items. All right. Value products that solve problems. You need some sort of ability to capture people's contact details. There needs to be follow-up, and then there needs to be a process of conversion. All right. So if you want to see the system I'm using that does all of this on your behalf, so that you only have to do one thing, which is concentrate on your promotions, then go to usethisystem.com. All right. Type into your browser, into your phone now, usethisystem.com, and see the system that I am using to automate all of this. This is Ugo, and I'll see you in my next video.